Hello, hello. I think we are live for day 3. Just checking to see if it's showing up. Okay, yes, I see we are live. Um, hello, hello, hello. How is everybody today? We are on day 3 of our amazing Love Yourself Challenge, our amazing self-love revolution. It's so exciting. Okay, Jamie's here. Yay! The technology is amazing. This is just so cool. How are you today, dear sister? Thank you for being here. Such a lighthouse you are. Uh, So, welcome, welcome, welcome. We started this amazing Love Yourself Challenge, Self Love Revolution on Monday. And now we are here on Wednesday on day 3. So exciting. Please let me know how it's going for you so far. Yesterday, we talked a lot about self-love affirmations, and we also talked a lot about crossroad moments in our lives. I shared a few really intense experiences that I've been through in these moments where I ended up choosing love for myself rather than maybe people pleasing or fear or concern about, well, how is it all going to work out? And these crossroad moments really changed the course of my life. And the crossroad moments were, again, all about choosing myself, choosing love for myself. And then day 1, we talked a lot about just making a self-love intention. So just starting off with, I'm setting an intention to love myself. I'm setting intention to love myself more. I'm setting an intention to love myself as much as possible. Okay, so Jamie says that you are awesome. Yay! I am awesome too. I am awesome too. I get really high talking about self-love. Actually, after the stream yesterday, I couldn't even concentrate for like an hour. I was in such a high vibration. I was in a bliss state, and I couldn't do anything human. Oh, so Jamie, you wrote, okay, was this one of your crossroad moments? Leaving your ex, trusting it would all work out? Amazing, right? I think so many of us on this awakening path are often confronted with the leaving the spouse plot line, choosing ourselves. Yeah, huge, 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 huge. Thank you so much for sharing that. So just to back up for a minute and just give a little background before we get into today's content is, so this is the Love Yourself 10-day challenge. My offer to you is that in 10 days, you can shift your life very profoundly. In 10 days, we can energetically shift our internal orientation to more and more love, more and more acceptance, more and more trust of ourselves. And as we do that, we will notice and gleefully enjoy the external shifting of our life circumstances. Oh, my mom's here. Hi, Mom. So glad you're here. So fun. I love seeing everybody. This is great. Good. So glad you're here. Yes. So again, my offer, my invitation to you is as we go through these 10 days together, and if this is your first day here, there are recordings on the Facebook You Are Your Own Hero group, as well as the You Are Your Own Hero YouTube channel. So if this is your first day, no problem. If you want, you can catch up and listen to day 1 and day 2, and now we're on day 3. So the offer here is that as we do these practices together, as we embody more and more self-love, self-trust, self-acceptance, we are going to see amazing transformations in our external world. And we're also just going to feel great, which really is the whole point anyway, right? The whole point is to just feel good, to feel comfortable, to feel at peace, to feel whole. And I'll just share here that I know for me, I think the worst feeling that I have personally ever had in my life is the feeling that I have abandoned myself. This often occurred in relationship with other people, where I was trying to fit in with them, where I was trying to harmonize with them, where I was trying to not be abandoned. And what I would do, and I think this is fairly common, is I would end up abandoning myself. And I don't think there's any greater misery than abandoning oneself. So I'll just throw it out there that if you are currently in any relationship, it could be with a partner, a spouse, it could be with a parent, it could be with a friend, and you're feeling not so great, you're feeling really down, you may possibly be feeling your own abandonment of yourself and sort of thinking that it has to do with the other person. And of course, some of it likely does have to do with some of the interpersonal relations with the other person. But it's really possible, if you go really deep inside, that the greatest pain you're feeling is possibly an abandonment of yourself. So this is something that I experienced a lot, and was definitely the most painful thing I've ever experienced, is the abandonment of oneself. So what I'll say is I love being in relationship. I love having a partner. But what I need and what really fulfills me the most is when I am in partnership, first of all, with myself. And I have a video on our You Are Your Own Hero channel called Inner Partnership. I'll probably talk more about inner partnership during this challenge, but I'll just say that to me, a big component of self-love is this inviolable partnership with self, that this comes first, that I am with myself first. I am married to myself first. I will not abandon myself. And just the sense of peace and wholeness and sovereignty that comes with that it's everything. So yeah, to me, external relationships are icing on the cake. I think they're amazing. I like being in them. But I must first start with the relationship with myself. And that really brings me the greatest joy and the greatest peace and the greatest contentment. And then also, when we have that partnership with ourselves, we are very unlikely to continue in external relationships that are not serving us, that may be not highest and best for us, because we have ourselves. So we won't feel, oh, I'm so lonely, or I really need this other person. When we have that really strong commitment, presence, partnership with ourselves, we are so good. And then everything else is really icing on the cake. Jamie, you have a great comment here. Jamie says, it's hard to distinguish between some of what you are mirroring for the other person and what's your own shadow work. Yes. Oh my gosh. I know. It's really intense. I think right now too, right? The energies on the planet, the ascension path that we're on, and all this all this stuff coming up. It can be really, really intense. Okay. So yeah, please in the comments let me know what you are experiencing and how this challenge has been for you so far. Uh, Today's practice that we're going to talk about, the third major practice that we're going to talk about, and just to review, day one, we talked about setting a self-love intention. Day two, we talked about self-love affirmations. And so today, day three is such a cool practice. It's presence with yourself. Presence with yourself. And to be totally honest with you, beautiful, amazing beings, this is a really new practice for me. This is probably a practice only within, say, the last year that I've been doing. So probably all of us are really familiar with Eckhart Tolle's amazing book, The Power of Now. And I read that book. I've read it a couple times, and I think it's amazing. And so the idea of being in the present moment, being in the present moment. The thinking mind loves to go to the future. What's going to happen? I want to make a plan. I'm excited about this. The future moment is going to be better than the now. Or the thinking mind loves to go to the past, possibly reviewing old wounds, possibly reviewing great past times. Doesn't have to be negative. But our power is in the now. And to me, the way I see that, why our power is in the now, is because when we are in the now moment, when we are present, that is when we can feel and really experience Spirit's presence. We're actually just tuning into Spirit's presence. Spirit's presence is not in the future. If we're thinking about the future, Spirit's presence is not when we're thinking about the past. Spirit's presence is right now within you, right now. It's right there. So to me, the power of now, to me, is the power of your spiritual presence within you. And so when we are present, we can hear the guidance, we can feel the intuition, we can tune into the nudges. And this is how I've really been living for the most part when I'm really conscious. Sometimes I go unconscious. Sometimes, oh, my cousin is here. Oh my gosh. Hey, beautiful Susie. I'm so glad you're here. This is such a treat. Thank you for joining. This is amazing that you're here. I got my mom, I got my cousin here, I got my amazing sister, Jamie. This is so great. The power of being present with yourself is that you will tune in to your beautiful spirit and you will have your amazing guidance. So the way I've been living is I pretty much just release my thinking mind and I only bring it in when I need to do a task. And besides that, I'm just tuning in. To me, it feels like I'm tuning in my body, kind of lower than my thinking mind. I think around my heart. This is where it feels like I'm tuning in. So I like to talk about being in my heart mind. Oh, good. Joe's here. Yay. So glad all the people in the house. Wonderful. So this practice of presence, to me is such an amazing self-love practice, because when we're present with ourselves and when we are tuning in to our precious guidance, we can then move forward in the highest and best way for our beautiful life. When we allow our thinking mind, our egoic mind, our human self to take the wheel, then we are really possibly just going off our track. So the heart mind, being present, tuning into spirit, this is how we really stay aligned on our highest and best path. And for me, at least, I think others have this experience. When we're in that orientation, there's just a sense of peace. There's a sense of knowingness of, okay, this feels right. Maybe I have no idea what the next step is going to be, say tomorrow. And this seems to be the path. It seems like spirit kind of doles out the directions on a day-to-day basis. Here's a little breadcrumb for you. Take it, go off and running today, and we'll give you another one tomorrow. That's at least my experience. I'd love to hear from you all, beautiful people, what your experience is with this. And so part of this practice for me is to become more comfortable in the not knowing mind. This seems a little uncomfortable, right? The not knowing. Oh my goodness. What do you mean not knowing? I want to know. My human self really wants to know, well, what's happening in this relationship, or what's happening with my career, or what's happening. So this is the thinking mind. The thinking mind wants to know and thinks it does know and tries to make plans. But the human self really doesn't know. The human self doesn't know the larger picture that our soul, our higher self, has laid out for us in this incarnation. So it is really a deep surrender. It is really a deep acceptance. It is really a deep faith that we can take on a day-to-day basis to relax our thinking mind, to tune into our heart mind, to be present with ourselves, to feel the day-to-day guidance from spirit, from your higher self, and to just watch the magic unfold. And I don't know about you all, but another part of this that I find really interesting is spirit doesn't seem to be linear at all, which would make sense, right? That's a human, really like a human security blanket. So my human self wants to, oh, okay, we're going to do this project and we're going to finish it. And we're going to do it like perfectly. And then we're going to do this project. And for me, at least, spirit just, oh, we're going to do a little something over here. And then we're going to do a little something over here. And my human self is thinking, oh, but I thought we were going to finish that. And then it's a little, it can feel a little more chaotic, honestly. But when I really tune in, it actually does seem like the best way to do it. It's just my human self is sort of constantly looking for comfort and security and checking things off and all of that. Yeah. So Jamie, you said, yes, it certainly tries to make plans. Our human self really tries, really. I want to know. I want security. And really where I land on all of that is the greatest security is being with God, right? Isn't that the greatest security, is just being with spirit, being with God, and following our own highest and best path for ourselves, and just comforting the human self that it will all be okay. So a couple other things I want to say about this practice of presence with yourself as an amazing self-love practice is, I think a lot of us, and maybe women more so even than men, a lot of us have been socialized, trained to give our energy out. Give our energy out. A lot of us are moms, and of course, we're giving a lot to our children, but it's really common for all of us as humans to give our energy to others, to focus on others, even just doing things like watching the news, for instance, is giving your energy out, right? It's paying attention to the external. Oh, Pops is here. Yay. This is so fun. So glad you're here, Pops. Wonderful. So many family members in the house. This is great. And my dear sisters and brothers as well. So part of this presence practice as a self-love practice is turning some of that energy back inwards to yourself, being just really mindful of where's my energy going, and being really mindful to keep a lot of energy for yourself. A really wonderful healer that I worked with years ago said something so profound to me. He said, Tassel, if it's not your life purpose, let it go. If it's not your life purpose, don't give it energy. So I'll just give an example of this, and this might sound a little controversial in a way. Like I used to just feel, oh, I need to do everything. I need to do everything. I need to be Superwoman. So if the PTO at my child's school asks me to do anything, I need to do it because that's what a good person does. And that's what a good mom does. And with this different awareness of what seems to really be my life purpose, I'm able to say no all the time now to requests for my energy. I'm not saying I would never help out my child's PTO, but I'm able to say no if it just doesn't really feel aligned for me. And just to understand that is really perhaps not part of my particular life purpose on the planet. So saying no, saying no, saying no. Warren Buffett has a really great saying around all of this. He says, the most successful people I know say no to almost everything. Yeah. So again, our life is between us and God. That's it. We are here as vessels of spirit. We are here with our own beautiful life plan, and we only answer to God. I take my directions directly from God. I'll listen to humans around me. I won't ignore them, but I take my directions from God, and I'm going to stay on my path that God and I am God, God is me, have planned. So yeah, this idea of keeping your energy. Jamie says, me too. Yes, PTA, room mom, field trips, class parties. Yes. And so much of it is so fun. And if you feel the the alignment to do it, it's great. But it's also great to be able to say no and to really privilege what feels like your path. Great, Susie. I'm so glad you came. Thank you so much for coming. Okay. And then just another component of this self-presence practice that I really want to highlight is something I've been doing. This is a new practice too, is if I start to feel uncomfortable, sad, rejected, scared, just something uncomfortable that just feels uncomfortable. If I'm able to, I immediately come to myself. And what I've been doing, if I can, what I've been doing is I've been going outside and taking a walk. And I take my phone with me and I put it on record. the little record app on my phone, and I speak into my phone. And I say to myself, Tassel, I love you so much. Everything you're feeling, I honor. I am here for you 1,000,000%. How can I help you right now? Do you want to tell me what's going on? How can I be with you right now? I am so here for you. And the way I think of it is it's kind of like I'm channeling my higher self, talking to myself. That's kind of the way I think of it. It doesn't really matter how you think of it. It's just being there for yourself as your best friend, as your mother, as your God self. And this has been amazing to me. The way I probably used to do things years ago is if I was upset, I would probably just try to keep working whatever I was doing. I'd probably ignore it. Or I might maybe make a couple of notes and think, oh, I'll talk to, say, my therapist about this, next week when I see her. I wouldn't really deal with it in the present, and I wouldn't be there for myself. I would think, oh, I'll talk about it with someone else. Or I might, another thing I would do is maybe I call someone, maybe a friend, maybe a parent. And I'm not saying that any of those are wrong to do. It's great to reach out to people. And I love talking to people, and it's often really helpful. But how powerful is it to not need that and to have yourself to be with you through thick and thin at any moment? So you have 24/7 access to yourself, and it's free. It's always available. And it just feels really great. And so these walks that I take where I just speak into my phone, there's something about speaking into the phone that helps. I don't know why. I think partly is if I'm passing people, I don't feel uncomfortable because it looks like I'm just talking to someone. Maybe that's part of it. I'm not sure. But I feel so much better after these walks that I take with myself, and I just let everything come up, and I comfort myself, and I hear myself. And then what also often happens for me in these, excuse me, these feel your feelings sessions is that my higher self seems to show me other situations in this lifetime, and sometimes even from other lifetimes where I had the same feeling. So it's just such a great practice to feel, what is it? Feel it to clear it, feel it to heal it, feel it to heal it. So yes, so this practice of presence with oneself it's just mind-bogglingly powerful. And what I also want to say about this is we live in a society built on distraction and numbing out. So we see lots of examples of, okay, I don't feel so great internally, so I'm going to go on an antidepressant. And I'm not saying an antidepressant is wrong. I have been on antidepressants, and I think they can be helpful. But for me, at least, I see them as a temporary solution. If you're feeling really, really down, to avail yourself of an antidepressant, but then really look at your life and feel your feelings and see what's going on and start to shift things. And you'll likely find that you don't need the antidepressant. And what can be a little tricky with antidepressants is, of course, they numb you. So it's harder to feel your feelings. So it's a mixed bag, but of course, use your own guidance with all of that. I'm not saying that there isn't a place for antidepressants, but I'm saying a complete reliance for a long period of time on antidepressants, I think can not be an aligned path. So, okay, so I don't feel good. I'm going to go shopping. I don't feel so great. I'm going to go eat something. I don't feel so great. I'm going to get drunk. I don't feel so great. I'm going to have promiscuous sex. There's a million ways to distract ourselves from our feelings, from our uncomfortable feelings. And our society is largely structured upon distraction and numbing out. And even, okay, this might sound a little controversial as well. Even things that might seem even like super positive can also be a distraction. So exercise is wonderful, but I know for me, sometimes I might not feel so great internally. So I would just go for a run, or I would go do yoga. And it's wonderful to go for a run. It's wonderful to do yoga. But it's also really wonderful to sit with yourself and feel your feelings, to be present with yourself. So do both. If you want to go for a run, that's great. But please also feel all of your feelings. So we're kind of talking about this phrase, spiritual bypass. I'll just tell another, to me, interesting anecdote. I did a Kundalini yoga teacher training program a couple of years ago, and there's many wonderful things about Kundalini yoga. I think it's an amazing technology, and at the same time, I think if we only do practices like that, we can miss our internal emotional experience, which really wants to be experienced. And for instance, I knew some yogis who would spend up to like 2 to 3 hours every day going through a lot of Kundalini yoga kriyas. And I'm sure they were valuable in many ways. But I also got the feeling that there was some bypassing going on by doing so many hours of these practices, and perhaps just really not sitting with what was going on emotionally, internally within them. So I think we're just talking about balance here, and we're talking about really privileging the presence with yourself, which in part means really privileging what am I feeling? What is going on within me internally? And not just jumping to do other things because we feel uncomfortable. So much of this is just getting more comfortable with feeling emotionally uncomfortable. And the way I think about it now is I almost get excited when I feel emotionally uncomfortable, because I know if I sit with it, if I'm courageous enough to go into it, I'm going to feel so much better afterwards. And invariably, there is some amazing insight or new direction on the other side. Your uncomfortable feelings are your pots of gold. They are your pots of gold, 1,000,000%. So if we can lean in to our uncomfortable feelings and just sit with them, and maybe this is partly why I like to take walks, because it is really hard to just sit with an uncomfortable feeling. It feels really hard to do that. I don't usually do that. If I have an uncomfortable feeling, I usually will go for a walk. Kind of walking it out feels better. That works for me. just looking at the comments. Jamie says, same with ADHD meds, in my opinion, meant to assist, not completely fix. It takes work. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I like the idea that we are whole as we are. So most likely the highest and best path would be to not necessarily need anything external in that way. Not that they can't assist, but if we do the work ourselves, most likely we may be able to just do it through our own inner work. Yeah, so this practice of presence with oneself, it seems like common sense, right? But for most of us, since we were tiny little children, we've really been taught to do the opposite, to turn away from ourselves, to listen to our parents, to listen to our teachers, to listen to religious figures and their agendas for us, rather than staying in tune with ourselves, with our own guidance, with our own feelings, with our own intuition, all of that. So this is what really undergirds the entire Love Yourself program for me, is a radical, comprehensive, ubiquitous honoring, trusting, accepting, and loving of yourself. That you are the expert in your life, that you matter, that you and your connection with spirit and your connection with your soul's purpose and your connection with your dreams are what you're here to do. And if other people are uncomfortable with that, if other people don't like that, that's their problem. That's not your problem. You are here for you and your beautiful, amazing purpose and joy and life path. And just one other point around self-presence that I want to highlight is you can also ask yourself what you need. So if you're feeling a little bit down or sad, you can do the practice of what I just talked about, of being there for yourself and talking it out with yourself. And then you can also just ask yourself, what do you need? What do you need, dear one? Just ask yourself that. You can ask yourself that right now. What do you need? How can I help you? What do you need right now? And you will find there will be an answer. It might be a phrase just comes into your mind's eye. You might feel something. You might just have a knowingness. You might see an image of something. As you further strengthen this sacred relationship with yourself, you will be in fantastic communication with yourself, and you will hear an answer. And it might just be love. You might just hear, I need love. I need love right now. And I'm still kind of experimenting with, like, okay, if myself says that, okay, what do I do? How do I give her love? And if you guys have any ideas, I'd love to hear, because it's something I'm still sort of figuring out. But sometimes I might just hug myself, or I might just imagine beaming internally, just golden light. And I think really I think so much is just about the energy, just about the focus. It's just, I think part of love is just focus. Part of love is just focus. So the more that you stay in presence and in tune with yourself, I think yourself will feel that. Just your attention, attention to yourself is so, so powerful. So, yeah, presence presence with yourself. Oh my goodness. Inner presence, inner companionship, inner partnership, all of these phrases. It's everything. It's huge. I can't say enough about it. It's really changed my life. And I'll just say one other story here around this, is that my whole life, I lived in the Cinderella land, meaning I think there was a part of me that was always waiting for Prince Charming to swoop in on his beautiful white horse and make my life perfect and make me feel loved and just make everything perfect. And when I separated from my former spouse about 5-6 years ago, I went through a really intense dark night of the soul, and I did all my inner work and all that. And eventually I felt a lot better. And eventually I felt I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling really sovereign. I'm feeling really whole. I got this. But there was still this idea in my mind that, oh, but when my life partner comes in, then everything will be perfect. Then I will just feel totally whole. And I've had a life partner come in, and lo and behold, it didn't fix everything. In fact, it actually showed me where I still had quite a lot of gaps, I would say, in my wholeness. And it really just was around me thinking that another person was going to make me feel whole. And I'm not saying that having a partnership, that there's anything wrong with that. I see it again as icing on the cake. You are the cake. Everything else is icing on the cake. So being in this relationship with my partner has actually helped me become way more whole on my own, and to really understand that wholeness begins and ends with me. It does not live in another person or in my relationship with the other person. So I feel finally cured of Cinderella land, Cinderella thinking. No one is coming to save me. No one is coming to save me. I save myself. I am my own hero. I am my own best friend. I am in presence with myself. I love myself. And everything external to that is icing on the cake. And then, of course, as we've been talking about all week, the beautiful aspect of this as well is that the universal law, as within, so without, as within, so without. So somewhat ironically, so I thought, oh, I'm going to feel whole through another person. Okay, no, that's not true. That doesn't happen at all. So, okay, all right, I'm just going to feel whole on my own. And that's the practice that I've been in. I'm not saying I'm always perfect at it, but I'm definitely better at it. And then as we become more whole and more loving to ourselves and more at peace just on our own, sort of magically, the external world shifts too. And we receive actually more love, more compassion, more assistance from the external. So almost like what we wanted, we still get all the good stuff, but we have to first create it internally. Like any type of manifesting, we first must embody the intention, the energy, and then we see it on the external. And the way I like to see it is we're really just sort of projecting our internal energy out into the external. So we're just seeing reflections of our own internal energy. So the more we're able to love ourselves, the more we're able to have peace with ourselves, the more we're able to trust ourselves, accept ourselves, we will experience all of that on the external. So self-love is the way. I can't say enough about self-love. And if there's any singular practice that I think can change your life the most profoundly, I absolutely believe it is self-love. And that is why we are calling this the self-love revolution. And all of you amazing people who are tuning in, I'm so grateful to you. And we are all self-love ambassadors. We lead by example. So when we know something and we have a great idea, we want to tell everyone about it, right? Oh, just try this. It's amazing. And not that we can't do that, but the greatest gift to other people is just embodying the energy that you want to share. So as all of us continue on our really eternal self-love journey and just more fully embody our own self-love, we will just be beautiful templates, models, examples for all of our other precious brothers and sisters on this journey. And we can really, no exaggeration, we can really change the world. This is how the world changes, through love, through self-love. And yeah, so if anyone wants to comment on any of that and just tell me how you're experiencing all of this, just so grateful for you all being here. And I wanted to just share one more thing. I may end with this every session. It's a poem. I wrote this a couple years ago, and it just feels really resonant for us in this self-love challenge, in this self-love revolution. Beautiful, beautiful being. No matter what your bank account balance shows, no matter what your love life is, no matter what job title you hold, no matter what degrees you have, no matter how popular you are, no matter what your weight is, no matter what your house looks like, you doing your inner work, you feeling your feelings, you reaching for your deepest truths, you tuning into your guidance, you taking inspired action, you strengthening your relationship with spirit, you just being you and doing nothing. This is perfection. This is success. This is everything. And you are a miracle. So we can let go of all of the mainstream ideas of what success is. We can let go of all of that. The deepest success is simply loving yourself, is simply being yourself, is simply bringing through your most authentic version of yourself. And you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do a single thing. You don't have to be anything. You don't have to have anything. You are absolutely divinely perfect as you are right now. So much love to you all. And we will be here tomorrow, same time, same place. And tomorrow's practice, let's see, is, this is a really good one, is spending time with yourself. Spending time with yourself. That was a really, really hard practice for me. I didn't want to spend time with myself. But the gifts have been amazing. So thank you so much, Jamie. Thank you so much for being here. My mom, Pops was here, my dear cousin Susie, Joe, and I think some other folks. And let's do this. Please keep in touch on the Facebook group. Let us know how you're doing, and let us know how this practice of presence is working for you. I would love to hear. So much love to you all. See you tomorrow. Mwah. Bye.